Welcome to Football to the Core. My name is Stephen Dawes, and today I'm talking about Manchester United again because they are in the news again, and everyone's talking about them again because they had a dismal performance against Newcastle United in the Carabao Cup, and they lost. I mean, they are the reigning champions. They won it last year, but they were really poor against Newcastle United, and it's now again come round to the situation of what do they do? What do Man United do? Do they decide to maintain Eric Ten Hag as manager of the club, or do they decide to go with somebody else? Now, this is something that obviously is going to have a lot of opinions. Every Man United fan is going to have an opinion of that, and I want to hear your opinions if you're listening to this or watching this. I want to have your opinions on what you think about the situation long term. I'm just going to give my own opinions, not as a Man United fan, because I'm not a Man United fan, but just as someone who is a football fan. And I'm just going to say that I think the situation is bigger than Eric Ten Hag. If you look at when Sir Alex Ferguson stepped down, it was always going to be a tough challenge for anyone who came in. And David Moyes came in, and yeah, he had a tough time, and I think it was understandable because a lot of people were saying, well, yeah, he's replacing Sir Alex Ferguson, who's been so successful at the club. It's going to take time for the club and for a new manager to come in and put his stamp on the game. So I wasn't expecting David Moyes to have a fantastic time in it. However, now under Eric Ten Hag, I think enough time has elapsed for the club to be bouncing back. Clubs does happen in cycles. You have a good spell, and then you have a rebuilding spell, and then you have another good spell. With the bigger clubs, of course. I think Man United are stuck in this rebuilding schedule. They had a really successful period. They've gone into what you would call a rebuild, and they're stuck in that rebuild. They can't get out of it. And part of that, I think, is because the fan base and the board and the whole ethos of Manchester United is that they want to win things. They want to be doing well, which of course every club does. But I think where it's changed for Manchester United as opposed to other teams is that other teams tend to give their managers time. Not as much time, but they tend to give them a little bit more time. Liverpool gave Klopp a little bit of time to work on it, and at Newcastle, they've been working for the last couple of seasons to bring players in and to try and get a new way of working, which is now bearing fruit. With Manchester United, I don't think the managers have a huge amount of time. So, you get a new manager comes in, he maybe shuffles the team about, buys in a couple of players, and then tries to impart his way on the team. And then by the time he gets to a point where things aren't clicking, but he's still got time to work on it, they get rid of him. And I think that's the way that a lot of clubs that struggle these days. There's so little time available for managers to do their job that if it doesn't go well for 4, 5, 6, 7 games, there's already people calling for their head. So I think Man United need to take time to rebuild their squad and to change the ethos of the club, because I think there's things going on behind the scenes that I think are ruining the success on the pitch. Now, some people would say it's the ownership issue. Some people will say it's the mentality in the dressing room, and there are some players who have more power than others. Some players who shouldn't have any power. Whatever you think that reason might be, I think that the club needs time. They need to reevaluate everything from the top down and work on strategy to improve, and not just on the pitch, but in the whole club. The whole ethos of the club, I think, needs to change to one that's going to be geared towards giving a manager time to do the job and giving him the resources to do the job. I mean, Eric Ten Hag has spent money in the transfer market, of course he has, but I think that it's going to take more time than just a couple of seasons for him to turn this around. Will he be given a couple of seasons more, perhaps, to turn it around? I mean, it could take another season, another 2 seasons before he starts to see results. Would the fans be happy with that? No, I don't think they would. Would the board be happy with that? No, I don't think they would. And so I think what we're going to have is a continuation of this issue where perhaps Eric Ten Hag wants to change things in a certain way. Perhaps the players don't want them to change it in that particular way. Perhaps the board aren't happy with the way he's changing things. I know they brought him in to try and make things a bit more, to try and steady the ship and to try and make a bit more discipline in the club. he's already had a couple of fallouts with players and things like this. So I think that maybe there's too much pushback from players or other areas of the club, and he can't get to do what he actually wants to do, and that could be one of the reasons why. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you can. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think that Manchester United can rebuild their squad in a short space of time, or do you think they need a longer period of time, keeping the same manager, to do a good job and to actually get something moving and get results going and get some momentum into the club? I would love to hear what you think about it. Let me know down in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to us a podcast and you're able to leave a comment, please do so, and I will reply when I see it. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.